I met Alan in I think it was 72. He had built or had refurbished a whole block of flats in Lansdowne Crescent and Notting Hill, and I was living on the ground floor, and Al had the upstairs flat, of which he was still building an amazing balcony, and it was the only cantilevered balcony in London, and he poured the concrete himself. And the reason he did that, because he thought if he's entertaining as his party animal he was, all his friends, the last thing he wanted was the balcony to break off and his friends to disappear into the basement. And I moved on and he moved on, but we always stayed in touch. So that's 43 years. And he's popped up in my life in many different ways, which is, I feel very, very lucky to have met Al. My husband Miles adored boats, and Alan asked him when he bought his first Sunseeker. He shared a Sunseeker with Jack, and then he went on to buy one. And Miles just loved boats, and Al rang him up and said, would you like to come down to Sunseeker and help me do the final sort of bits on the boat? And also because Alan, though he knew a lot about boats, when you're suddenly buying something that's worth a lot of money, and and for Miles that was such a treat. And then we were on the inaugural sailing of her, and Miles was at the helm in seventh heaven, and he's always there at the end of a phone, and that's something that you can't say about a lot of people. So that's my sort of story as well, really. Friend for life. I could go on and on and on, but that is my he's the most generous, kind, and just not always around all the time, as we know, because he travels so much, but just suddenly you'll get a phone call from somewhere just checking you're all right, and especially since Miles has died, he's been real, I know he's there, and if I needed him, I'm sure he'd be there. And that's what I call a true friend and a friend for life. Are we happy? So that's and then culminating in this wonderful weekend. What more could you ask for? It's been a very special weekend. Just to say that I hope I have been able to give him something from me in my friendship to him. What I'd like to feel, that he's given so much to other people, and I hope that we as his friends are able to give back in our own way. We can't do it necessarily in monetary terms, but just as a friendship, and hopefully he could, if he needed anything, he could come to me.